going to do precisely what we claim not to do all the time, and that's 0% Rotherham United this time, and 0% of the time, because this time we're going to concentrate on Accrington Stanley, as we did a few months ago. And joining us this time again is our Lancashire correspondent, David Lloyd. Thanks for joining us, Bumble, again.
It's fine, absolutely. You know, you're a cracking club. I'm really sorry that Everton just got the edge on you. I mean, I absolutely love the FA Cup. I mean, people come on and say, "Oh, the FA Cup is not this, it's not that." It's fantastic. I mean, Marine have been on telly. They got the virtual ticket sales. They had over 30,000.
I know, yeah.
You know, it is fantastic. It's really, really good. And look at Crawley Town.
Yeah.
Crawley Town. Yeah.
Yeah, however, I've not made a great deal of mileage out of that at work, really, Leeds United supporting friends, but no, I have actually. I tell a lie, I have. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different this year, though, isn't it? You know, with fans not being allowed in, third round FA Cup weekend is always a special weekend, and this year it's had some of the gloss taken off it, to be honest. But it is what it is, isn't it? You know, it's the same countrywide at the moment, so these are minor problems in comparison, aren't they?
Well, of course they are, but in football terms, you get a team like Dorley.
Yeah,
their manager is a head teacher. He's a head teacher. You know, it's fantastic. I mean, the great stories. And in cricket terms, it always reminds me when we played Gillette Cup and you got drawn against a minor county. It used to frighten you to death.
I bet it did.
Who are they? Where did they play? What sort of a pitch is it? So that, you know, that's the FA Cup, because you can dream in the FA Cup. You can dream as a player, as a spectator, and you progress from game to game. And like Marine have made £500,000. It's brilliant.
It's going to keep him in business for many years to come, that, isn't it?
Of course.
Which is literally what it's all about. So yeah, I mean, we I have to be honest, we weren't that disappointed with our result on Saturday. I've been banging on the podcast for about 2 weeks now, saying we really don't want to win the game. We just want to come out of it with a bit of confidence, and I think we got exactly what we wanted out of that game. We don't have any extra matches to play now. You know, a cup run would have been not easy for us with the fixture congestion that we've got coming up. Because we've obviously had a bout of COVID as well at our place, so we've got 2 or 3 games in hand to a lot of clubs. So, but we came out of it heads held high, I think. Really good performance, and your man, Mr. Crooks, was not far off man of the match. He wasn't man of the match, but he weren't far off. He had a fantastic game. So yeah.
You got 3 former Stanley players, haven't you? Iwakwe, Barlaster, who came from Middlesbrough, I think. He was on loan. Good player.
Yeah, very much so.
It's interesting that, you know, the teams, Wickham and Rotherham, who came up from League One, they're really struggling. So is it such a big gap from League One to Championship? Because I think League One and League Two are very, very similar.
I don't think it is a big gap. No, it's not. Not in terms of quality. It's the gap is very, very small. But I don't know. I'm saying that now. We're obviously second bottom, I think, but we have got 3 games in hand. It must be. The gap must be there. I don't see it personally watching the games week in, week out. You know, obviously going to the games in League One, and we've not been able to get there this season in the Championship. But the difference in quality is not massive. It is just a decent striker here, or, you know, just a goal scorer ultimately.
It's 2 things, Mick, isn't it? In football, it's 2 things: stop them scoring and score. Yeah. It's as simple as that. I mean, you can break it down into all sorts about the back 4, the goalie, the midfield, and the strikers. Stop them scoring, and you score. So you need strikers. There's somebody got to be. I spoke to Andy, our owner, who is fantastic, as you know, and I said that, you know, the 2 front runners that we've got run all day, and I get the stats as to how far they run. It's incredible that they put pressure on defence. Keep putting pressure on the defence. And perhaps we create chances, don't score maybe as many as we should. And talking to Andy and saying, look, what about a goal scorer, a proven goal scorer? And he said, in League One, it says it's $6,000 a week to get one of them. He said, we can't afford it.
Well, that's probably why we are where we are then, because I don't think we pay that at all, anywhere close to that, for any of our players, even at championship level. I don't think if we do, I'll be very surprised, which probably is why we find ourselves where we are. But there's a long way to go yet, and I'm reasonably confident that we're going to be. We should be all right. I'm pretty sure we should be all right. He says.
Well,
fingers crossed.
Our two front players, Dion Charles and Colby Bishop, have been sourced from non-league.
Yeah.
From Leamington and from Southport, and they're doing fabulously well. I mean, they're hairy defences. They're right all the time. So that means they're as fit as fiddles. They're very, very fit. And interestingly, we just signed Gary Roberts, who's 36 years of age and played for us years ago. And he's a goal scorer. And so you can see Gary Roberts will come on, little cameo, 15 minutes here and there at the end because of his know-how and his knowledge. And he'll do 15 minutes. So it's a shrewd signing. It's not a long term by any stretch. It's till the end of the season. But he's brought him in, John Coleman, John and Jimmy Bell. And you can see there's a method there that they've got two young strikers who run like whippets. Then a lad who can come on for 15 minutes right at the end and have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience.
Which is massive. And when you've got players of, as you say, who are quite young, that experienced head just to sort of come and calm down the situation or take the heat out of the situation is really, really important. It was going to be one of my questions that actually later on, whether you've got anybody that we could try and nick on loan for the rest of the season who could find back in there, but clearly you're not going to be interested in letting anybody go.
Well, I think it's interesting when you get loan players, and we're in that market very much so, that you loan players, and we came unstuck, I think it was last year, when we had loan players up to Christmas. But now we've got loan players till the end of the season, and that is less disruptive. Our philosophy is that we give, and we'll name Colby Bishop and Dion Charles, come from non-league. Our philosophy, and we tell them that if you improve, we will sell you on. And so it's very much down to the player. If you improve in League One and you've got great ambition, we came unstuck with Matty Crooks and Josh Windass in that Glasgow Rangers came and just pinched them. They just stole from us. Because Matt was a wonderful player. They were fabulous players for us. They were the best players. And, we felt hard done by a real top-notch Premier outfit. They acted with a bit less class. They didn't have any class at all. But I always look to see how Matt's doing. I like it a lot. He's a very interesting character. And so he's quite a languid player. And he reminded me, if you're looking at Premier League, I thought, well, when I watched him at Stanley, particularly alongside Windass, that he was like Vieira, Patrick Vieira, who he'd stroll around but be strong. He's a good player.
Unorthodox, I think, is a good word for him. We weren't going to talk about Rotherham, but I will very, very briefly. The first time he played for us, he came on a substitute after we got him against Leeds United. And the first challenge he went in for, he completely missed the ball, missed the player, missed everything. And I thought, what on earth have we got here? And then the next challenge he went in for, he took the ball. I think the player that was on the ball took about 3 somersaults and he just wandered away with the ball. It was fantastic. He just completely cleaned everything out. Perfectly lawfully, perfectly legally, it wasn't a foul at all. And I just thought, like him. And then from that moment on, he's endeared himself to the fans at Rotherham massively for various reasons. But I'm going to ask you this question then now. And I feel, as a Rotherham United fan, I'm qualified to ask you this. Bearing in mind your current position, when we spoke last time, you were about 5 or 6 games, I think, behind everyone else and about mid-table. You're in the playoff positions now, with 3 or 4 games in hand to some of the players, some of the teams above you. If it ends up at the end of the season that you're going to go up, and it is entirely possible the way that you're playing at the moment, are Accrington Stanley ready for the Championship? And I'm asking that as a Rotherham fan, bearing in mind our relationship with it is, I'm trying to think of the right word, on and off.
Yeah, well, it's tenuous, I would say.
That's the one.
That we obviously have ambition, and the players are a terrific bunch, and that is so important. You've got good management, and so you've got a dream and have that ambition that you can fulfill that ambition and get into the Championship. Now, we don't have a budget compared to all the teams around us. We just don't have that budget. And so management is absolutely paramount in getting the right player and the calibre of player. And, our forte and our manager's forte is that he can spot a player. And, I know I'm not telling tales out of school, but a couple of 3 weeks ago, he was down at Leamington looking at another player. And it was against York City. And I've got a good pal who does the commentary on York City. And he sort of texted me, he said, "Your manager's here." And it was at Leamington. And so I sussed out that I got in touch with our manager and said, "Right, process of elimination, what are you doing at Leamington? Number one, you're not looking at anybody from York City." And that's my wife's club. She's season ticket holder. I said, "So it must be Leamington." And I got him straight away, bingo. And it's a lad who's gone to Leamington from Notts County. So he were looking at him. But also there were a number of other scouts there who were looking. So that's a fascination of a league club looking at non-league, because these players are around. They definitely are. Lads who have just had a bit of bad luck, misfortune, injury at the wrong time, and they can come again.
Well, I mean, I give you Jamie Vardy as a perfect example.
There you go.
He was cast aside by Sheffield Wednesday, which I'm sure they don't regret at all. And now look at him. So yeah, absolutely. So I mean, how are Accrington fans feeling about the current situation? And 8 games, one defeat in the last 8 games, and that was a close run thing, 4-3 at Wigan. It's a good run. It's a good run, and you've still got those games in hand, and you don't seem to be dropping away at all.
Don't mention that Wigan game. We were shocking.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we scored 3 away from home and lose. How do you score 3 away from home and lose? and so that's our worst performance. And I watched the game at Charlton on Saturday. We were terrific, absolutely terrific, because I thought this could go either way. We've not played for 3 weeks. We could be a bit rusty. Or the boss comes on and he said, "They bang up for it, these lads, absolutely bang up for it." They were as fit as fiddles, and he doesn't like substitutes. Our manager is not one for substitutes. He might somebody go in the last 7 or 8 minutes, but it's not tactical wholesale changes. He just says that I pick the best team, and he also is old school. He said it 3 times a week. Young lads, 20-odd-year-old, 3 times a week, get them in there, they'll play.
Yeah.
And that's the way that it's going. So Stanley fans are like they always are. They're a terrific bunch. There's not many of us, but they keep singing and they're just enjoying the ride. Yeah. And that's what it is. It's a super story coming from non-league and going out the league in 1962. And I played a bit in the Lancashire combination, and I've got a good mate who's a big time down at Marine. And I said, I wonder if that bloke's watching that kicked me from Marine to Bootle. Played against Marine, back in the 60s. So, football's a wonderful, wonderful outlet in this COVID situation, which is dire for everyone. I'm over 70 and I'm just frightened to death, absolutely frightened to death with it, because people are not doing what they should be doing. It's simple.
No, absolutely.
Listen to this, Mick, I live backing onto a golf course. Now, you can't play golf. They've told you can't play golf. Now, that would be in twos at 10-minute intervals, and you don't touch anything. You turn up and go home. Outside my house, I can see 2 fairways. This weekend, at one time, there were 32 people on and 7 dogs. There's a fella flying an aeroplane, and there's a game of football. but you can't play golf.
Yeah.
I mean, the geezer in charge, I'm telling you, has lost the plot. No, number one, buy yourself a comb. Sort yourself out, lad.
Yeah, it'd be a start, wouldn't it? It'd be a start. But as you said, if people just took notice, then we probably wouldn't be in this situation. I wouldn't be as bad, would we? But people don't, do they? People don't. They don't want to know. And you know, going back to sport, it affects us as spectators and yourself, who obviously you get involved commentating and everything else. It affects our livelihood, your livelihood, and our outlet for, as you just described it, because we can't go to games. You know, we still. It's just from a sporting point of view, or sporting spectators' point of view, it's crap. It's rubbish, and I think we all want it over, don't we? But I understand that you're going to be commentating from your kitchen on the Sri Lanka series, then.
Well, it's moved up to the bedroom because I've got to be near I've got to be plugged into the router, which is up in the bedroom.
Right.
And I'm doing it. I mean, we've got a rehearsal on Wednesday. I'm doing it from an iPad. I mean, have you seen the size of them things?
Yeah, they're tiny.
Yeah. So I'm doing it off there. So I'll get to the nitty gritty, the bones of it on Wednesday as to how we're actually going to do it. But I think there's 4 lads in the studio in Sky. And I will be in my house, and Sangakkara and Jaya Wardena will be in their houses in Sri Lanka. So it's very similar. If our viewers and listeners are remember the Masters Golf, and Butch Harmon was commentating, and he did it from his house.
Right.
And so, technology is wonderful, and I'll just wait and see. I'm fascinated if it works or if it doesn't work, but you give it a go.
Absolutely. I would have thought Sky would have been up with some big tellies for you and satellite dishes on your roof and stuff, but obviously not. No,
it's not that sort of technology. You've got to get into your Ethernet cable into a router, and so it's all done wireless. And I've got a fair bit of gizmos that puts me straight back into the studio. And we've done one test and it works. It all works. Yeah. And now we'll have a rehearsal as to, the technology is unbelievable to do it from Cheshire and a bedroom.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's fantastic, but I guess not the same atmosphere as obviously being there, is it really? But as we say, it is what it is, isn't it?
I mean, your work, just technically, you do your work off a monitor. You don't watch the game, but you keep an eye on the game. You keep an eye on the game and see what's going on. Like this lad, Steve Smith, who's just been caught doing all sorts of stuff. I mean, how childish is that? I mean, this is a grown man.
After everything that's gone off as well. Bizarre. It just seemed anyway. Yeah. Well, it's another subject that I'm sure we could talk for hours on, to be honest with you. Going back to Accrington then, all people sort of, I know it's Christmas, and I know we're sort of probably 50% of the way through the season, just about, maybe a little bit less, sorry. On a points per game basis at the moment, if it ends now, I think, I've not checked, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be well up there and close to the top 2, bearing in mind that you haven't played as many games as everybody else. So at the moment it's on.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what you do is you keep your head down, keep doing what you do, quiet achievers, come under the radar, be Accrington Stanley. There's some wonderful teams in that league. Portsmouth, Ipswich, Sunderland. Yeah. And you could argue that they are Premier League clubs in League One. Now, we've proved that we're a non-league club in League One. And just keep doing what you do. The lads are, I can't tell you what a great bunch they are. I know we've got great. The one thing about sport, in whatever it is, in cricket, rugby, and I've been involved in cricket, when you're on the field of play, when you're in the field of battle, you need leaders. And we've got some fabulous leaders. Yeah. Right through the team, your real backbone through the team of leaders. And I think that is really important.
Yeah, it's massively important. That's certainly something that we suffered from early part of this season, where we really didn't have any leaders on the pitch. Paul Warne's put paid to that, and we've got that. He's got that sorted now, and performances have definitely picked up and improved since then. And you're absolutely right. That's really, really important, particularly as you say on the budget that Accrington are on. You can't afford to be paying massive wages to highly talented players. I say highly talented players. That's not to say that the players that play for Accrington or Rotherham aren't highly talented, but you've got to have that leader in there to lead. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?
You manage that they identify the player. Now, when you're looking at a player, and again, I go back to any sort of sport, can he play? Yes, take. What's his character? What sort of character? Now, does he fit in to what we are looking to do? Does he fit into our culture? Once you've ticked all them boxes, you sit the player down and then say, now it's down to you.
Yeah.
It's down to you now. You've got the tools, you've got the availability, the responsibility. Now you go and do it.
Yeah.
I just throughout my sporting career, that's exactly how I've looked at it. You could tick a box easily. Can this bloke play? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what's his character? What's his culture? What's his background? Does he want it? Has he got bottle? All these, add up to a player. They add up to a player. And you get all sorts of players. You can get a Roy Keane that's right up and at them in your face. And you can get Glenn Hoddle, who's a complete artist.
Yeah.
And they're different. They're totally different. But they're players.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And what you just described there is something that Paul Warne does a lot. He talks a lot about the personalities and how they fit in and the type of people that they are. And I'll be honest with you, it comes in for quite a bit of criticism from a small section of our supporters. Particularly when we lose a game, they tend to use that attitude towards players as a bit of a stick to beat him with. But absolutely, it's the right way to go. Particularly as you've said, when a team is on the budget that probably both our clubs are operating on, they're not going to be massively different. I wouldn't have thought. So yeah, it's hugely important, and it's certainly working for Accrington at the moment without a shadow of a doubt.
You've got to be careful what you wish for and know your station, know where you are, but have that dream and ambition as to what you can achieve. And there'll be ups and downs, there'll be backs and forwards.
Yeah. 100%. Right, listen, I really appreciate you giving up some of your time to do this. I really, really do, and I'm going to let you get on and watch Stockport now. I don't know how they're going on, but I'll let you.
I'll have a look. It's on in the other room. It's Stockport and West Ham. I mean, it's 8 miles from where I live at the minute.
Yeah, I'm going to see you should be able to hear them cheering, but you can't, can you? Obviously, stupid comment.
Well, I said to my wife, Diana, I said, let's go upstairs, see if we can see lights.
You think you need to get out a bit more.
Vic, I haven't been out since March, and I tell you, I'm seriously, I am bloody suffering. Really am.
I can imagine.
Terrible. Right, stop it is. I say Stockport it is. Let's go and watch them.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, thank you very much. And I'll, if it's all right with you, I'll be in touch with you in a couple more months. Maybe sort of 10 or so games before end of season. Let's see where we both are.
All right, good stuff.
Thanks very much. I really appreciate it. And good luck with the commentating on the Sri Lanka series. I will definitely be listening.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, mate, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna watch the matches and try not to imagine that you're in your bedroom,
in pyjamas,
or your pants,
like I am now.
Oh, great! Thanks for that.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon. Thanks very much.
Catch you soon.
All right, cheers, mate.
Pringle looking towards Odegaard. Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it!